It is very nice to greet you again. In today's video we will talk about the following. Here's how you should contact your ex-boyfriend. Contacting an ex-boyfriend can be tricky, especially if you have plans to get him back. We'll weigh the pros and cons and I'll show you which method the experts recommend. Contacting an ex. Most women make a huge mistake when they want to contact their ex-boyfriend. The average woman who really wants her ex back turns into what I like to call a texting mosquito. Have you ever had a mosquito hovering around your head? No matter how many times you swat it, it just doesn't seem to leave you alone. I hope you realize the analogy here. You are the mosquito. Every time you text him, he's probably rolling his eyes, getting angry. In short, texting him like a crazy person is not a good idea. So, I'm going to recommend that you refuse to contact him after a certain period of time, 30 days to be exact. So instead of him rolling his eyes every time he sees your name on the caller ID, his whole world will have changed and he will wonder why you are not begging him to come back. It is amazing what a little silence can do for you. Summary: don't even think about contacting your ex-boyfriend until 30 days of silence have passed. Doing this will make him wonder why you are not begging him to come back. Let's talk about ways to contact your ex-boyfriend. 1. Calling on the phone. Phone calls are interesting because they can be used effectively and you can have great success with them. However, it is not just about picking up the phone, calling your ex and pouring your heart out to him. No, phone calls need to be done in a specific way to maximize their success. Let's look at some of the pros and cons of calling on the phone. Pros. Things can get emotional in a good way. You can get a definitive answer every time you ask an important question. You can actually hear your loved one's voice. Cons. Things can get emotional in a bad way. Calling doesn't give you time to think. Every time they ask you a question you have to answer quickly. It's easy to get into an argument again. 2. Write a letter. Writing a letter is an interesting tactic for first contact. I know some experts who sell their own products recommend this, but if I'm completely honest, I'm not a fan of this tactic. Basically, you write a letter professing your undying love for your ex and how you'd like to reconnect. The biggest problem I have with this method is the fact that if you literally went through the 30-day no-contact period, without contacting your ex even once, it can look a little creepy if he opens the door and finds a letter from you professing your love. 3. Write a text message. It seems like texting came out of nowhere. Almost 90% of people who have a cell phone use text messaging. Texting is sacred to everyone. Have you ever tried to take one of your friends' phones and read their texts in front of them? Trust me, they either feel awkward or very angry. This can give you a distinct advantage when texting your ex. They will take your texts seriously and probably won't share them with anyone. It's a way to talk to your ex in a very personal way without actually having to physically go out with them. Pros. Texting is very intimate. You can share cute pictures. It's impossible to raise your voice over a text. You can think before you send something. Cons. I honestly can't think of any. 3 steps to properly contacting your ex. Step 1. Implement the no contact rule. Basically, for 30 days you can't talk to your ex via text, calls, Facebook, Google, etc. If you mess up and contact him before the 30 days are up, you'll have to start over from day 1. Step 2. Once the 30 days are up, he'll be ready to make first contact. In my opinion, the best way to make first contact is through a text message. However, you need to make this text message so interesting and fascinating that it's impossible for him not to respond. Step 3. Once you've reached the sweet spot in your communication, you'll ask for a hangout or a small meeting if he hasn't suggested it yet. Again, a lot has to happen between step 2 and step 3. However, you're not going to ask for the hangout through a text message, but through a phone call. This is the proper way to use a phone call, after you've already established some rapport with each other. You are an essential part of what we do on this channel. For this reason, we keep an eye on what you need, and if it is your desire to recover your ex correctly and effectively, you must click on the link below.